camels, the ship of the desert. Have you seen the episode of Big Bang Theory where Howard and Sheldon, they were going to Sheldon's mom's house, and they had something, they were speaking about camels. So did you see that?
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah, so is that really true?
Well, maybe most of our audience might not have got it yet, but this is the episode. Sheldon and Howard, they travel to Texas, and right when Sheldon is about to enter his mom's house, he says to Howard, "I've got some interesting facts for my mother. Unlike what the Bible teaches, camels were not present during the time of Abraham." So that's a pretty interesting claim, right?
Yeah, but then I think it's again one of the strategies of Chuck Love to, criticize Christianity.
Exactly. Because it's a trivial stuff. How can all the theologians and all the biblical archaeologists miss something like that?
Yeah, true.
When I heard it, I thought it was something new.
Mm-hmm.
But when I read into it, it wasn't a new claim. So, I thought it's necessary that we get down to this. And since most of our audience might be familiar with Big Bang Theory, I thought it would be good if we can hammer the nail in the coffin of this allegation that the Bible got even such a trivial aspect wrong.
Yeah.
So, here's what happened. Two archaeologists of Tel Aviv University, Safir Hen and Ben Yosef, they dug up a copper mine area in the southern part of Arava Valley of Levant region in the Sinai Peninsula. So it's a region where Abraham lived. So Levant is the region where Abraham lived, and this copper field is very east to where Abraham lived. So they dug up the area and they found copper remains. They found some camel bones. They carbon dated it, and they found that these camel bones are from an era that are a couple of centuries later than the time when Abraham existed.
Oh.
So their argument was simple. Well, these camels mentioned in the time of Abraham are anachronistic. They are out of touch with history.
Oh, okay.
So the article in itself did not connect the Bible and archaeology, but a news report from the American Friends for the Tel Aviv University, they came across and they said, well, this further highlights the discrepancy between the Bible and history.
Okay.
From then on, National Geography, New York Times, Washington Post, all these leftist democratic news agencies who were not pro-Christian, more accurately atheist. So what they did was they all jumped on board and started criticizing the Bible for being out of touch with history.
Oh.
But I believe, Piyush, you might have read up on this stuff.
Yeah.
Did you find so many interesting counterpoints?
Yeah, I was reading this article where I came across this archaeologist. His name is Mark Chavalas. So he had something to contradict or counterattack these assumptions which were made. So firstly, Abraham, he was from the Mesopotamian region.
Yeah, right. So it would be modern Iraq, right?
Yeah. So they didn't dug up that area, but it was dug up in the southern part. Yeah.
Right.
But Abraham wasn't there in the southern part. He used to stay in the northern part.
Yes, he was from Mesopotamia.
Yeah. And then even when he was doing the research, he found some evidences of camels during the period of Abraham.
From Mesopotamia?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
From that place. So one of the first pieces of evidence for him was a plaque from the mid-3rd millennium shows that a camel was being ridden by a human.
Okay, so that's a sign that the camels were domesticated, that they were not wild.
Yes, yeah. And then there were a couple of others as well. There were camels encrypted on paintings or so these things he found, and when he carbon dated them, it took him back to the time where Abraham was living.
So that's an interesting point, because Abraham, like you said, he's from Mesopotamia.
Exactly.
That's where his birthplace is.
Yeah.
From there he came to Canaan.
Yeah.
So the archaeologists didn't dig up Mesopotamia, and we have evidence that there were camels in Mesopotamia.
Exactly.
Predating Abraham. So he could have brought the camels to Canaan.
Yeah.
Okay, so that I would say that's a very strong counter argument.
Yes.
And here's the interesting part. I mean, so the major flaw with this archaeological dug up was that they dug a small portion of the Levant region, which was very east to Abraham.
Yeah.
They dug up a copper mining area. They dug it up, the carbonated camels, and then they assumed there was no camel in that entire region during the time of Abraham. So that is a massive assumption.
Yeah.
I mean, that is nuts
Mhm.
to say that there were no camels before the million years with your archaeological finding very restricted small area.
Mhm.
A famous Egyptologist named Kenneth
Yeah.
Kitchen, he said his quote. This is interesting. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
True. Wow.
You have to give credit to the guy for bringing up such a good point in the good words.
Hmm.
So just because they didn't find any camel bone to be predated, they can't say that there was no camels during that entire era.
Yes.
And here's the other part. These, like every other clock, the carbon dating clock also has to be calibrated.
Hmm.
And when we come to the ancient Near Eastern regions, the Egypt, Sinai, Iraq, all those regions, the dating of the clocks are calibrated according to the Egyptian calendar.
Okay.
And with recent discovery coming up with other archaeological findings and datings from other region, the Egyptian traditional clock is now looking not exactly accurate. There are some major discrepancies.
Okay.
And errors coming up to a frame of 6 centuries. So the Egyptian structural historical clock is having errors of up to 6 centuries.
Oh, that's
and
a lot.
as this Egyptian clock is revised and made accurate, it is coming more and more in line with the biblical time frame. So this is a fundamental challenge to carbon dating itself. And one other point is Hyde. Hyde is one of the foremost expert on camels during the time frame of the biblical time frame.
Okay.
Well, what he claimed is that even this archaeological finding, they were looking at the one-humped camel, not the Bactrian camel.
Oh.
So then again, we have another challenge there.
Yeah.
Do we know that there were no camels before that, or there were no one-humped camels before that? And Hyde claims that the usage of the language within the Bible, where camel refers to, are more in sync with the Bactrian camel.
Oh.
That has to do with the language and the style of usage. Because it is more evident as you compare other ancient Near Eastern texts, and you can see the similarity of language usage. So this again that challenge.
Yeah.
So basically, what they did with this research was, like I said, the archaeologists didn't make much of a claim. They just did it. They found out that it is not in sync with the Bible.
Yeah.
And later on, everyone else pounded upon it, brought all these accusations, and said that the Bible was completely out of touch with history itself. So, like we did with the previous podcast as well, of discussing God and his girlfriend, that analogy. This is evident in modern day mainstream media.
Yeah. So what I see is like, these people, they are, they're just trying to find different ways to degrade the Bible.
Exactly.
So, and then even like small things, if they're finding out, they're not, doing the proper research on it, and they're just trying to make assumptions and jumping into baseless conclusions.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know much about the carbon dating and stuff, but just when I read the National Geography's report on this, that wasn't a Christian side report. That was an anti-Christian report.
Yeah.
Just when I read it, I could see this discrepancy, that it wasn't making sense.
Yeah.
So it's a deliberate attempt to downgrade Christianity, like you said.
So, if you want to know more about this topic which we spoke about today, we have the links given below in the description, so you can find it out. And this was it. Thanks for hearing us, and please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
Making diamonds out of us.